watching the nation's best college newscast. 11 News at Noon starts now.
Shutdown struggles. Local farmers and the businesses they use are feeling it where it hurts, right in the wallet.
Building boom. Home construction is on the rise in Provo, which may show the recession is coming to an end.
And jump the fence. National parks remain closed, but that's not stopping some visitors from sneaking in. I'm Christy Jacinto.
And I'm Kathleen Keller. Welcome to 11 News at Noon. The government shutdown is affecting business both in the city and out in the field.
And local farmers are no exception. Utah farmers are not getting the farm subsidy they depend on because of the government shutdown. 11 News reporter Andrea May talked to farmers. So Andrea, how are the decisions 2,000 miles away affecting the local farm economy?
Government programs can't pay Utah farmers because the funds are tied up in Washington. That means that companies that sell the equipment and goods to the farmers are also getting the short end of the stick because the farmers can't pay. Farming equipment, like a tractor or wheel line mover, costs a lot of money, which is why farmers like Gus Colatzes of Price apply for a subsidy from the government. The federal shutdown is making farmers pay for their equipment out of their own pockets or make the businesses they work with wait for their money.
We were at the point of getting our final inspection done so that we could submit for payment, but now who knows when we're going to get payment.
It's been 10 days since the government shutdown began, and the patience of local businesses is wearing thin. Harvard Irrigation says it's suffering because of farmers struggling to pay the bills.
So many of our customers receive a subsidy from the government that they're having a hard time getting a hold of due to the government shutdown, which makes it difficult for them to pay us.
Smith says that Harvard Irrigation expects they'll get the overdue money eventually, but he's not sure how long it will take.
But when it comes to finding new information, even their websites are down, so it's pretty inclusive.
Farmers with already approved equipment will get their money, but future projects may have less funding than before.
We don't know at all what's going to happen, but it's definitely inconvenient.
Harvard Irrigation is giving farmers stuck in this predicament an extended period to pay the bills. The company says they hope the funds will come in soon.
So Andrea, how much money did the farmers owe Harvard Irrigation?
The manager of Harvard Irrigation couldn't give me an exact number, but says that they're starting to add up.
Oh, tough situation. Thanks, Andrea. There's an indication of a little movement in Washington. House Speaker John Boehner says House Republicans will propose a temporary increase in the nation's borrowing limit. Raising the debt ceiling would keep the U.S. from defaulting on its loans. GOP leaders say the proposal would only be good for 6 weeks, giving both sides of the aisle time to consider future plans. Boehner says this doesn't end the government shutdown, but could lead to more talks.
Governor Gary Herbert says he is willing to loan the federal government money to keep our state's national parks and recreational areas open. He says the money would come from our rainy day fund, and Utah will get the money back once the federal government starts running again. The Secretary of the Interior just this hour answered Herbert's letter, saying they will take him up on the offer, but they are still working out the details of this new development. San Juan County is backing off the idea of forcibly reopening Lake Powell for fear of a legal battle. There is no law specifically mandating that the lake shut down, but former federal judge Paul Cassell says counties cannot just take over the federal property. Commissioners from counties surrounding the lake say they'll wait to see if Utah is able to loan the money to the federal government before taking any action.
Next door in Nevada, Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area's closing caught 2 sisters off guard and also cost them a hefty fine. The government shutdown closed the recreational hiking area, so the sisters parked their car outside the gate and hiked into the trailhead. It wasn't long before rangers stopped them and escorted them out of the park.
Came back and gave us these tickets, $275, but this is the part that really hurts. Creating a nuisance in a closed area.
The sisters say they never thought the government shutdown would also close the desert. They say it's even worse that the government is still paying park rangers to keep people out rather than let people in. A new poll says that Utahns favor Senator Mike Lee compromising on the government shutdown rather than standing his ground. It also says that Lee's approval rating is dropping. The BYU professor who conducted the poll says that Lee may be risking his next election by holding out rather than listening to what the majority of Utahns want.
Provo City says cement, nails, and plywood are a sign that Utah Valley is rising from the recession. They anticipate a number of new homes in Provo will double last year's figures by the end of the year, and that means positive financial changes in other areas too. They say that Utah County will reach the 1 million population mark in the next 2 decades. Lehigh City is building an infant cemetery for parents who want to rest their child alongside other kids. The cemetery planner says that plans have been on the radar for a while, but were put off last year. Lehigh City is currently taking bids to add a memorial sculpture that will convey the cemetery's family-centered theme.
When 11 News at Noon returns, Campus Contagions. Homecoming week brings lots of new people to campus, but they end up sharing just their traditions.
And Birthday Dive, turning 90 is something to celebrate. We'll show you how one man brings in a new year of life by taking a giant leap of faith. Stay with us. The state says you don't have to worry about the chicken in your fridge making you sick. The Utah State Health Department says that the salmonella outbreak sweeping the country has not hit Utah yet. The Federal Agricultural Department says that Foster Farms, the company responsible for the diseased chicken, is shutting down tomorrow if they do not find a way to fix the problem. Salmonella isn't contagious, but colds and flu are, and with 30,000 students on campus, that's a lot of germs to pass around. 11 News reporter Jenilyn Theria is live on campus. Jenilyn, what should students be doing to help themselves stay healthy?
Well, Kathleen, just because you come to campus doesn't automatically mean that you're going to pick up someone else's illness, but the odds do go up. There are certain steps, though, that students can take to make sure they don't get sick. During BYU Homecoming Week, students can share the love and their germs. But it's not just Homecoming Week that puts students at a higher risk. Doctors say that a college campus is the ideal place for infectious diseases to spread.
During the cold months, we tend to be indoors more. And so we're getting exposed to other people that might be ill a little more frequently.
Doctors say students and staff pick up germs in their own homes, bring them to campus, and spread bacteria and viruses by both indirect contact and through direct touch. Typical overworked, underrested college students have run-down immune systems, which makes them more prone to getting sick. And when you bring an entire student body together, it increases your chance of picking up someone else's illness. BYU wants students to do their part.
You know, we need to protect other students when we have colds and things like that, but we need to learn how to take care of ourselves also.
Dr. Wilmore says that frequent hand washing is a must, and the next best safeguard is using hand sanitizer. One other suggestion:
try not to touch your face, and that's harder than you would think.
Students can also focus on their lifestyle, making sure they eat a balanced diet and get enough sleep and physical activity. Now, the doctors I spoke with said they really want students to be health conscious, especially with midterms coming up. Live on the BYU campus, Jenilyn Theria, 11 News.
I know it's hard to miss classes here and there, but is there ever a time students should stay home from school?
Well, Dr. Wilmore says that if you feel nauseated or you have a fever, you should probably stay in bed. After all, sharing isn't always caring.
Yeah, it's good to know. Thanks, Jen.
A Greyhound bus crashes on a Pennsylvania highway. A Texas man hijacks an ambulance, and a rapping icon's daughter is a homecoming queen. Here's your look at news from across the nation. A Greyhound bus carrying 49 passengers collided with a tractor trailer in Pennsylvania. The bus was on its way to Cleveland when it crashed into the back of a tractor on Interstate 80. Authorities say one person died in the crash and dozens more are injured. Helicopters took more than 40 of the passengers to nearby hospitals. The man is behind bars accused of stealing an ambulance. EMS workers were treating an injured person near a highway when they say the man jumped into the medical unit and sped off. Officers say he hit several cars before police were able to catch up with him. They arrested the man after medical crews treated him for minor injuries. No officers were hurt in the chase. And a high school in Michigan has more than one type of royalty in their homecoming court this year. Their homecoming queen is rapper Eminem's daughter. 17-year-old Haley Scott enjoyed her time in the spotlight as she walked onto the field with her mother. Her world-famous rapper dad watched the ceremony from inside a building so he wouldn't take away from her big day. And that's your look at news from across the nation. Kathleen?
In honor of Homecoming Week, BYU turns the hills near Helaman Fields into a gigantic slip and slide. Students came out in droves for BYU's annual True Blue Foam Bash. The Campus Involvement Committee blanketed Helaman Fields with slippery stuff to get students in the homecoming spirit. This is one BYU tradition that students call good, clean fun. All right, Chris, I was cold and rainy when I was walking up here today. Is it going to be like this the rest of the day or the week?
Pretty good chance at least through tonight, but then we could see some clearing out, especially by Saturday. Your 11 News weather when we return. Yeah, a cold, rainy day outside. However, take a look at this. Some of our furry friends from the mountains came down for a visit on BYU campus. Typically, you actually do start to see deer come down as the food up in the mountains dries up, so they come down where the food is. I'm always where the food is. I can't blame them. Yeah, overall kind of cute. Though I don't think I'd ever pet one because, yeah, they seem dirty. But hey, that's just me. All right, so again, big story today is the rain. Currently it is 46 degrees. Overcast. It's not raining, at least here in Provo, but other parts of the state still are seeing rain, especially out in eastern Utah. They're getting quite a bit right now. Humidity, you can tell that it has been moist, 87%. As Kathleen would say, probably not the best for your hair. However, that's why I'm a dude. I don't have to worry about it. And then wind speeds 5 to 10 miles an hour, south-southwest. And we will see those change a little bit later on throughout the day. Tonight, low of about 40 degrees, 40% chance of showers, and that will continue to diminish as the night goes on. Tomorrow, there's like a 20% chance, but really nothing too much. And then sunset, that is wrong. It's mostly right before 7 o'clock, 6:20. We don't see that more till November. However, that will get there closer sooner than later. Around the state, again, you can see the story is definitely the rain. 50s for the high throughout the state, 56 in Logan, 56 here in Provo as well. Cedar City only making it to about 48 degrees. St. George high of 62. And southern Utah, they had a lot of rain earlier today, but then it's moved out, and so they could see some sunshine later on this afternoon. Eastern Utah will continue to see the rain through tonight. Southern Utah, again, cooler today, but then you look at Friday and Saturday, 70s, and then Sunday and Monday, the 70s continue, so it's a great week to go down to southern Utah. Of course, generally speaking, October is just a great month for southern Utah. Northern Utah, cooler, but overall not too bad, especially come Saturday. You can take a look. High of 64 degrees, sunny, so for game day on Saturday, it should be pretty good. And then we could see another storm, though, roll through Sunday with it continuing into Monday or Columbus Day. So kind of I was just going to say up and down weather pattern, like fall.
I'm just excited we'll have a warm Saturday. When it's warm on the weekends, I'm happy.
Yeah, relatively.
Yeah, relatively. Definitely.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Chris. All right, Clark, we got some pretty good games happening this week. What can we expect in the world of sports?
Homecoming week, as always, we're going to have a dress code. We're trying to do that every week. Odd sections are going to wear dark blue for the game on Saturday, and white, even sections and the Rock has to wear white. Next on sports, talking Taters. 11 Sports reporter Jake Edmonds breaks down the improvement of Taysom Hill in the BYU passing game. And St. Louis showdown. The Cardinals hosted the Pirates for a deciding Game 5 in the Loop. Find out who's through the gateway to the NLCS. Don't go anywhere. Sports is next. After a slow start, Taysom Hill and his receivers hit their stride last week in Logan. The man they call Taters threw for 3 touchdowns in Friday's win. And as 11 Sports reporter Jake Edmonds tells us, it's time to expect a lot more of the same.
If last week's Utah State game showed us one thing, it's that Taysom Hill appears to have a new favorite target. Sophomore Mitch Matthews racked up over 100 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns on Friday.
It's just a lot of fun because we knew we could do that, throughout all the season, spring and summer. We knew we could do that.
The game gave us just a taste of what the Cougars expect from the passing game going forward.
We haven't even scratched the surface yet with, the ball in the air.
And while BYU's passing attack has been successful the last couple of weeks, it's been opening up new opportunities for the already dynamic run game.
The last 2 weeks, without any drop passes and more consistency throwing the ball, I think teams will at least have to acknowledge that threat now. I wouldn't say that they'll be fearful of it, but at least acknowledging it should allow us to run the ball even more effectively than we have.
Having Taysom throw the ball like that, and now it's making us a double threat. So now people just got to watch out for passing now. They ain't got to worry about just running.
Despite the roller coaster of a season the Cougars have had so far, expect to see more consistency in the passing game and Jamal Williams to carry the go fast, go hard offense to the finish. At Lavelle Edwards Stadium, Jake Edmonds, 11 Sports.
BYU's next chance to light up the scoreboard will be Saturday's homecoming game against run-happy Georgia Tech. The Cougars threw for 228 yards in a 41-17 win over the Yellow Jackets last year. Former BYU linebacker Kurt Govea is one of 7 players in the inaugural class of the new Polynesian Football Hall of Fame in Hawaii. Govea was part of the Cougs national championship team in 1984 and was a 2-time Super Bowl champion in the NFL. The linebacker will be inducted alongside other greats such as Kevin Mawai, Olin Kreutz, and the late Junior Seau. Tyler Haws isn't a Hall of Famer yet, but he might be headed that way. CollegeInsider.com released the Lute Olson preseason All-America team yesterday, and Haws made the cut. The junior led the Cougs last year in scoring with nearly 22 points per game and is also in some impressive company. Household names like Doug McDermott from Creighton, Aaron Kraft from Ohio State, and Kevin Pangos from Gonzaga are also on the team. BYU incoming freshman Eric Mika also got some love as preseason All-High Major Freshman of the Year. Recent history says the Cardinals and Pirates have almost nothing in common. The Cards are seeking their 3rd straight NLCS appearance, while the Pirates are in their first playoff series since '92. Both found themselves in a winner-go-home situation yesterday. St. Louis ace Adam Wainwright on the hill, and his crew's got his back. Top 2, Matt Carpenter snares the line drive and doubles off Marlon Byrd to end the threat. Then, bottom half of the inning, it's Mr. Freeze. You're not sending me to the cooler. 2-run homer for David Freeze puts the Cards up 2. Redbirds looking to add to their lead in the 3rd. But Starling Marte, highway robbery right here to keep the bases clear. That ain't no thing. Cardinals had an answer, though, as Pete Kozma says, I see your highlight and raise you another. Stop it. Just stop. That's ridiculous. Pirates threatened once more in the 8th, but Matt Carpenter runs it back. That's a different play from before, I promise. And Wainwright's happier than a camel on Wednesday. St. Louis looking for some insurance in the bottom half, and it's Matt Adams. They call him Big City. This thing goes so far it needs a flight attendant. Home team can smell blood, and Waino is on to close it out. Big whiff at the curveball. Wainwright finishes the complete game 6-1, and it's adult beverage time in the clubhouse. That sets up a dandy of an NLCS. The Dodgers will fly to the Lou on Friday for Game 1 of their best-of-7. But don't forget about tonight. A's host the Tigers at 6 for their do-or-die Game 5. Winner of that plays the Red Sox in the American League Championship Series. Guys, it is such a busy time for sports. Baseball is going, football in full swing, basketball next week, hockey's even going. It's awesome to be a sports fan right about now.
I know, I love basketball, so I cannot wait for the season because that's coming up soon.
Yeah, team should be pretty good this year, especially if Eric Mika is as good as they say.
All right, thanks, Clark. Still to come on 11 News at noon. Jumping for joy, a 90-year-old celebrates his birthday by soaring through the skies. His story when we come back.
What would you do for your 90th birthday? As Greg Onofrio tells us, Jack Grayson spent his in a not-so-conventional way, jumping 14,000 feet out of a plane.
If you've ever thought, I can't.
Yeah, he's Mr. Charisma.
Maybe Jack Grayson will change your mind.
When bad things happen, and they happen to all of us, Jack just goes, oh well, life goes on.
Jack was born on October 8th, 1923. In other words, he's 90 years old today, and he's celebrating in style.
I've never seen somebody at that age jump out of a plane.
But your attitude is one of the greatest things that will keep you alive. And I'm going to prove that by getting out of that plane today at 90.
The founder of the Houston-based American Productivity and Quality Center, co-founder of the Houstonian and former Nixon administration official, says he's not one to back down from a challenge. And you could say he put his money where his mouth is.
I'm not worried a bit. I bet my blood pressure is normal right now.
We were there in Sealy today to watch him skydive from 14,000 feet, flying through the air at more than 120 miles an hour.
Put your elbows around your instructor and your head back on your shoulders so we don't bump heads on the way out.
Let's go.
We're climbing through 4,500 feet directly above the field, so a little bit less than 10 minutes.
In the end, the trip was a success. And now, Jack says, it's your turn.
Everybody who watches this, try it.
Yeah, I think I'll stay on the ground for my birthday.
Do it. Let's go. Come on.
No,
you can do it.
Absolutely not.
Nope. I went for my 18th birthday, but I definitely won't be going for my 90th.
No. That's your 11 News at noon for our Thursday, October 10th.
You can join us anytime on our website, 11news.byu.edu.
Thanks for watching and have a great afternoon.